In this video, I will show you how to start with and use your why when telling your story to new prospects and why this is so important to creating, connecting, and closing more insurance business. Let's get started. Hi, this is Craig Colley. If this is the first time here, GoAgentgo is a marketing resource, an online course, and YouTube channel aimed at helping you create and close more insurance business with tech tools and tip videos just like the one you're watching now. I'm also an insurance agent and have created GoAgentgo to share my years of experience building, but more importantly, using a work-from-home insurance business. Typically, I provide time code in the show notes below to make it easy to jump to a particular spot in the video. So let's start with the problem or challenge at hand. I've received so many questions about this topic, and perhaps you're struggling with it like so many others. What's the best way to introduce yourself to a new prospect? Particularly when it's virtual, when you're working at home, you're using a computer, a screen share, a Zoom meeting, or maybe even a FaceTime on your phone, or even leaving messages or creating videos that you're sharing. What's the best way to start to do that? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. The first point is you need to tell a story. Your story and your why is your story. So what does that mean? Well, in this video, you're going to learn how to do a few things. First, we're going to define why you do what you do based on a personal experience. Help you figure that out. We're also going to talk about why people buy why you do something rather than what you do. And then we're going to break down a story example to help you understand exactly how to use your why and to create a compelling story of your own. The story you tell about yourself is only important to a new prospect if it creates an emotional response, addresses a problem, provides a solution that's very important, and reveals expected results of what that solution can do for them. They don't really care about you, they care about them and what you can do to help them. So intellectual jargon has no place when building a relationship. It doesn't matter if it's an audience of 1 or 1,000. Your story and why you do what you do must trigger curiosity, empathy, trust, and belief in you and who you are. What you share should be crafted in such a way that it has a universal appeal and is based 100% on truth. If this is done correctly, it should connect you instantly because it's similar to what they may be going through currently in their own lives or those they care about. Once they've heard your story and understand your why, your ability to communicate and earn trust is increased by immeasurable amounts. Few things are more important than mastering this aspect of your insurance career. It doesn't matter if you've been in the business 1 month or 50 years. Most agents never fully realize the potential amount of sales lost by not honing their storytelling skills. This video is designed to help you sharpen the edge on your ability to connect quickly, share what's important to your client, and create and close more sales. That's what we're here for. First, I'm going to share a bit of my story and my why to help you construct a framework to use as a template. I've stated many times it's always easier to edit than create. This example is for that precise reason. Now, I've included a worksheet in the show notes below to help you create your why and your story. And I'm going to share 2 different ways to frame the same story depending on the situation in hand. First, leading with the story where the listener knows the story is about you. And second, leading with the story where they find out later the story is about you. And I'll illustrate both examples. And by the way, this is my actual story and the one I've shared countless times. This format works if done correctly. There's no magic to it, just the truth. Laid out in a specific order with the right words, phrases, emotional triggers to prompt the desired response. So let's start with version 1. Leading with a story where the listener knows that it's about you. So this is what I would say as soon as possible when starting my conversation with a new prospect. I grew up in the Midwest in a typical family, had a loving and talented mom, and a hardworking and very funny dad. And I was second out of 4 kids. We lived in a nice house in a beautiful neighborhood. I had my own room. We took vacations. I had an allowance. Always had new clothes to wear, lots of gifts at birthdays and Christmas time, and always had food on the table. And I was able to do so many things and never felt like I was deprived anything or denied anything. I knew I was fortunate, but really never gave it much thought. Well, that changed the night of July 4th when I was 12 years old, when my dad died suddenly of a heart attack. Everything changed for obvious reasons. Now, my dad, he was the president of a family business that my great-grandfather had started in 1908 called Colley Elevator. Colley Elevator, same last name as me. My grandfather had also run the business, but also died a few years prior, leaving the business to my dad. And it turns out that my dad passed, that the business went to my mom, and she had no knowledge or ability to run the company. It turned out it sold in a fire sale, partly because my parents didn't have any life insurance. And they were carrying a substantial amount of debt along with their monthly expenses. Within 6 weeks, we had also sold our big, beautiful house, moved to a much smaller place with just a few bedrooms. Not only did I lose my dad, who I still miss every day, but the way of life I knew also ended as well. There were no more vacations, new clothes, allowances, and things were tight for many, many years. To my mom's credit, she worked 3 jobs to provide for us kids. Just an unbelievable job. I started working part-time at 13 to help as well. So many things I took for granted were gone and were not coming back anytime soon. Once I was a little older, I started to realize why my life changed so quickly. It was my parents' lack of understanding of the importance of having insurance and managing debt. If they only had a plan in place, life would have been so much better all around. Obviously, the emotional loss will be with me forever, but if my parents' finances were in better shape, it would have been so much better for my mom and my family. That is why I am so passionate about what I do as an insurance professional. Now, every day, I get to help others from experiencing what I and my family went through. It changed who I was, but that experience helped prepare and mold me into being the most caring insurance business relationship partner one could ever have. It's the main reason I get up every day, roll up my sleeves, and enjoy preparing and providing protection for your life, family, and your assets. So that's my story, and that's how I usually present it. Sometimes it's a shorter version, sometimes it's a little bit longer. This version illustrates so many points, of which most are pain points, which are important to use as often as possible, but also how you resolve the pain from your experience and save them from going through the pain that you and your family went through. Now, you're probably thinking that's a lot of focus on pain, and you're right, but the majority of people choose to avoid pain than enjoy pleasure. Think about that. The majority of people will avoid pain before they choose pleasure. That's their choice. So this is how you start with the pain, then resolve into the why. You do what you do and how you can help them because of your experience. These are points you want to make crystal clear in your story. Things like life is great until it isn't. Emotional distress and lack of understanding why that happens. Extreme change of lifestyle because of unexpected tragedy. Now here's where it starts changing a little bit. You're starting to gain understanding, planting seeds for the future, to eventually becoming a licensed insurance professional to provide services that my family never had. Sharing my story, my why, my passion to help others avoid a similar situation. Those are the things you want to definitely have into your story. Now let's look at version 2, leading with the story where they found out later that the story is about you. The story is essentially the same, with the main difference being how you begin and close. It can be remarkably effective because of the surprise ending. Before you go into any type of presentation, always begin by sharing a story, which would start like this. Before I begin, I'd like to share with you a short story. Now, one thing about this story, you're going to change the same story from before, from first person to third person. It's about a young boy who grew up in the Midwest in a typical family. Had a loving and talented mom, a hardworking and funny dad, and he was second of 4 kids. He lived in a very nice house, and so on. Now we're going to jump to the end. If only his parents had a plan in place, life would have been better all around. Obviously, the emotional loss will be with him forever. But if his parents' finances were in better shape, it would have been so much better for his mom and his family. The reason I'm so passionate about what I do as an insurance professional is because that 12-year-old boy was me. Now, every day, I help keep others from experiencing what I and my family went through. Now, sometimes, if you set this up well enough, they will actually answer the question. They'll know it's you and they'll say it out loud. This little twist in the story is something you should be able to feel when it happens. And this approach is extremely effective virtually. Helps you identify so many things about your client going forward. It may prompt them to share their own story or a story about someone they know. That is the ultimate response that you want. They may express how sorry they are for what happened to you. Empathy, sympathy, you can work with those as well. They'll remember your story for sure. They will be more open to trust you and want to follow your lead, and they'll start believing you're the right person to solve their problem. The bottom line, if done correctly, this gets them comfortable enough to do what? Start talking. Your story is a lead-in to do as much listening as possible from that point forward. Remember the old saying, we have 2 ears, 1 mouth, meaning we should listen twice as much as we talk. Now I know for most sales professionals, this is a real challenge. It's usually the main reason it disrupts the creating and closing of more business and more sales. It's too much talk. Got to listen more. That's something very important. But this story has 2 goals. 2 things, to get them start trusting and start talking. Now sometimes it's hard to get them to stop talking, but usually that's a good thing and maybe a good problem to have. So here's the value of identifying my why and how it serves as a nucleus for developing my story. I took a negative experience and turned it into a positive one for others. Let's look at the negative side of the negative result of this conversation. Losing my dad unexpectedly. Obviously, that's tragic, it still is. The burden on my mom, unbelievable. My lack of understanding why my lifestyle changed so much, especially when I was young. Loss of my home, money, family, business, and so on. Who knows, maybe I would have been in the elevator business. Complete unknown future. But now the positive outcome is it starts flipping around because it created an awareness and a desire to help others. I gained a realization of the unnecessary burden this type of tragedy has on a family. It doesn't have to happen with the plan. Incentive to become a licensed insurance professional. And the ability to market, educate, and provide valuable information and guidance. It's an honor to do that. It really is. So let's look at defining why you do what you do. Now, discovering your why may be easier than you think. Usually it comes down to 2 important choices most people make when they go into any line of business. Number 1, they do it solely for the financial rewards and profit, which is a result of an effort and nothing more. It really has not much significance, and usually if that's the main motivator, it's really tough to sustain that because people sense it and they don't respond the way that you'd like them to if it's only profit-based. So the second choice is they do it because they share a cause they believe in, and that is to help others have a better service, product, life experience from the business relationship. This is based upon what they've personally experienced in their own lives. It serves as a catalyst for everything they do in business and what they believe in. Remember, people buy why you do something rather than what you do. Remember, they don't really care about you. They care about the problem you can solve for them, and this is how you get to that. Sharing your cause based on your why effectively will help others to believe in you and what you're offering. And if they believe strongly enough, you'll have a loyal and dedicated client for life. Believing something mutual with your client can have an unbelievable impact on your business, and that's what your why and story does for you. Remember Dr. Martin Luther King's speech in the summer of '63 in Washington, D.C.? The speech wasn't called, "I have a plan for your future," or "I've been a preacher for 25 years. No, it was, "I have a dream," which prompted a shared belief that changed the world. You can do the same for yourself by adopting the same philosophy. This is how important knowing, developing, and starting with your why in your storytelling is for your insurance business. Let's break down the story example to help you understand how to define your why and create a story of your own. So here's some points to include in your story. The time frame, who, what, where, why. words and phrases that provoke or trigger an emotional response. Then using that emotional response to gain belief in you and your cause. Sharing that you know what it's like to experience something they do not want to experience themselves or anyone else in their family. Your passion and reason for being in the insurance business is based 100% on your why and personal experience. And then identify yourself as the life jacket navigator who they believe can get them back to safety if they find themselves on stormy seas. Sounds like a line out of a novel. In review, the worksheet provided gives you an outline to help you create a great story to share every time. Your ability to master this task will translate into an unbelievable boost in your relationship building, earning trust, sharing a common belief, and creating and closing more insurance business. Here at Go Agent Go, we help you break through barriers blocking you from the success you desire and deserve. As always, our goal is to help you create and close more insurance business. I hope that this information was helpful, and if you find that it's something you'd like to share, please subscribe, share it with your friends, your colleagues, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. This is Craig Colley signing off. We'll see you next time. If this is the first time you're watching, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, so that way you won't miss any videos that are coming out to help you continue to grow and scale your work from home insurance business. And if you have a question or a comment, please leave it in the comment section below. We'll try and get back to everybody on that. If you have a video suggestion that you'd like to see us do, please put that in the notes as well. And if you are doing and creating your own videos, I'd love to see what you're creating. So please leave a link there as well. And we would love to just to see what you're doing and how you're taking this information and using it for yourself. As always, you can follow us on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and of course, at our fabulous website at goagentgo.com, where there's just a ton of information for you to use to help grow your business. And if it feels right, please share with your friends and other insurance agents in your network. I'm sure there's lots of folks you know that may need some help in these areas as well. And I'm also available for one-on-one consultation. And many agents have found this really useful to speed up the learning process. However, if you're someone who wants to work on your own pace, I offer an online course called Eazy VB. Eazy VB stands for Virtual Business. And it's an online course to help you build your work from home business with multiple modules, many video lessons that you can watch over and over again if you want. And it's self-paced, like I said before, and it's designed to help you organize and prepare to create and close more insurance business. That's why we're doing all of this. That's the whole purpose of all of this. There's a link in the show notes below for that as well. So hope you check out Eazy VB. This is Craig Colley signing off. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.